recently I had the great privilege of traveling across Peru and Chile, and I thought I would share everything that I collected along the way with y'all. I truly feel like one of my favorite things about traveling is collecting the little pieces along the way. You know, it's a great way to interact with the culture, especially I love interacting with the different handicrafts and that sort of thing. And I love just being a vessel and collecting things that I love along the way and things that can remind me of my journey and feel sentimental in their own individual ways. So there was one spot in Cusco that me and my partner just fell in love with. We went back I don't even know how many times, but it was this amazing nonprofit and indigenous art gallery / cafe that was called Chipiri Ground. They have a cafe downstairs which showcases their chocolate that they get from Amazonian region in Peru, which is to die for. I had the best hot chocolates of my life there. And then upstairs they had paintings, ceramics, craft goods from the Amazonian region in Peru. And they work with the communities directly so that they can make a living off of these ancestral crafts and ancestral skills that they have. So I've got quite a few things from there throughout the trip. First, as I was talking about, the chocolate. Oh my gosh, like this chocolate is just different than anything I had in the US. It's 70% cacao, and all it has in this is, it says cacao chuncho and panela organica, which I believe is sugar. It comes in like these little coins with little cacao beans etched on them. Just even eating them is delicious, but what I've been doing is taking like 3 of the coins, putting them in a mug, adding the tiniest bit of boiling water, stirring that up, and adding steamed milk to that, and it's so good. And because it's 70%, it's actually, I believe, anti-inflammatory. I've just been treating it like gold. It's so good. Oh my gosh. I also picked up this chocolate from there. I've eaten most of it already. This one is milk chocolate, so it only has 45% cacao. But this is also from the Amazonian region, and it is just absolutely delicious. I also got from Chipiri this beautiful choker necklace. And it has these beautiful kind of copper beads. And I saw it the first time we went, and I thought it was beautiful, but I was like unsure, and I just didn't want to get too much because I wasn't sure how much would fit in my suitcase, blah blah blah. I went back and got this because I kept thinking about it. It is just so pretty, and it's so comfortable, and it doesn't irritate me at all. I'm obsessed with this. And of course, we love them so much, we had to rep them. They had these hats with this is their logo. We ended up getting these on the first day. I love this blue stitching in the back. That is their name. This is my actual favorite color, green. I actually have a scarf right there that's the same color. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a baseball cap that I actually like. I'm gonna get that. And it's just so cute. And I wore it all throughout the trip. My partner got a matching one, and we just embraced it. And I mean, I just wanted to support this organization. They were so cool. I literally almost forgot about this piece because I've been using it so much already. I literally used it today to drink my tea. But they had these gorgeous ceramic mugs that they commissioned from an artist in Lima, I believe. And you can see their logo again there on the bottom. But this is what they would serve their hot chocolates in. And I just fell in love with it when I was drinking out of it. Like, it has these indents, you can see, on either side, which I believe this ceramics is just made with their fingers, because the way your finger fits in these, it just is so comfortable, and it just feels so natural. I love how the clay, it looks just kind of like it came out of the earth. Like, it doesn't really look like anybody manipulated it that much. But I love this slight kind of sheen on the inside, and it's not really on the outside like this is just the perfect mug. Drinking the hot chocolate out of this was amazing. Such a nice, visceral, tactile, physical experience, and I just had to bring one of these mugs home with me because I just loved the experience so much. I think that's everything from Chipiri. As you can tell, I'm a diehard stan, but I highly recommend if you're in Cusco to check them out, and they just have such beautiful things there, and they're supporting indigenous communities in the Amazonian region. Another spot in Cusco which was really cool is the Textile Museum. Yeah, I believe it's the Textile Museum. They again are showcasing the traditional kind of Andean region textile crafts. They work with, I believe, indigenous communities there, and they have a whole museum that goes into what the traditional dyes are, the natural dyes, and traditional clothing, and the methods, and all of that, which is super interesting. And I found this beautiful dark green shawl, and it is, I believe, baby alpaca fiber. And I love that you can wear it like this, or you could get, you know, some pins and kind of pin it up into more of like a poncho. I just feel like it is super chic and timeless and just kind of cozy too, despite all of that. And it has this beautiful detail on the edges here, this kind of woven part next to the tassels. So it's just a beautiful piece, and it's so soft and cozy. Another cool spot that we happened upon in Cusco was this little boutique store called Hilo, Hilo. I really loved everything there. It was all, I believe, made in the shop, and it was kind of like reclaimed material vibes. And I saw this piece, this, like, I don't even know, is it a shirt? Is it a jacket? Is it like a hoodie? I don't know, but I saw it on a mannequin in the street when we were walking, and we were on our way to a cafe, so we just, you know, went along, and afterwards I was like, I need to go see that. So I ended up trying it on, and I just thought it was so cool. Like, it's different reclaimed bits of denim, and I just love the little like mock neck. It has these big pockets here, which are like super useful, and it just kind of has like a nice boxy fit, but I wasn't expecting to find something like this, and I just fell in love with it. So then we made our way into the Sacred Valley, and we stayed a few nights in the cutest town, Ollantaytambo, and I found in one of the textile shops there this hat. And my partner, actually, he's been to Peru quite a few times, and he once got a hat there that is similar to this with a blue background and then these different like motifs, but they're a bit different. But I always loved that hat, and I kind of wanted to find something similar for myself there. I would never usually gravitate towards like black, but I don't know, it's really cool. And I just love the little motifs, the colors. I specifically love these lines. I don't know why, it kind of reminds me of like a 90s like cup pattern, if you know what I mean. But this is just a really unique hat and a cool piece for the winter time. Another little random piece that we ended up collecting, I guess, is this deck of cards. We always like to have cards with us, like at meals or wherever, just, you know, if you have a few extra minutes you can get a game in. And we had forgotten to bring some with us, so we found these at just like a random tourist shop in Cusco. But it's actually really cool. They're the textiles of ancient Peru, and it just has all these like fun images on them of different Peruvian textiles. And so that was kind of a random but fun find, and now when we're playing cards with friends, there's an interesting story behind it. Another really cool place that we went to while we were in Ollantaytambo is this museum slash restaurant called Alca, and it's kind of a similar concept to the place I was talking about earlier, Chipiri. I believe Alca may have been around before them, but they focus more on indigenous groups from the Andean region. whereas Chipuri focused on groups from the Amazonian region. And they had an amazing restaurant. Oh my gosh, the vibe there was so cool. They had this little hut with these beautiful straw lights and these like gorgeous candles that were like encased. I don't even know how they did it. They gave us this like nice golden glow, and the food was to die for. Oh my gosh, like it was kind of like reinvented Peruvian classics and some of the best food I've ever had. Such a vibe, this place. But they also had this amazing museum and gallery, and in the gallery they showcased crafts and goods from different indigenous groups in the area that you could purchase. And I instantly fell in love with this piece when we walked in. The stainless steel fish here, I just thought it was so cool. And it has these coins on top holding it. But I just fell in love with this. It moves, which is so interesting. And actually one of the owners, I believe, of Alca told us the origin of this. It's from a group that is closer to the Lake Titicaca region, but on the Peru side. And he said that it is originally, historically, they would make these fish brooches that they could stick on their clothing and then dance with them, so that, because it makes kind of a noise, you know. And eventually it turned into spoons, I believe, that they hung on their clothing because of the Spanish colonizing. But this was the original thing, and I think the group has returned to making them again, and I just thought it was one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. And I actually have hung it up in our dining area besides the table. I just love looking at it every day. It's just so gorgeous, and the craftsmanship is amazing. Oh my gosh. The second thing I got at Alca is this beautiful baby alpaca sweater. The details on this are absolutely stunning. It's a little wonky right now because I just washed it and it's not dry yet, but I just fell in love with this, and the color is gorgeous. It is so soft. If you could feel it, oh my gosh, this thing is so soft. And just all the detail. As someone who is currently learning knitting, I feel like I now truly understand how much work goes into making a sweater, and this one is just so intricate and beautifully made, and I was just like drawn to it immediately. After we stayed a few days in Ollantaytambo, we stayed in a nearby town, Urubamba, and we were recommended to go to this bookstore. It was called Maleta, and it was a bookstore, but it was all about photography and different kind of niche photography art books. They had kind of a library section and then also a section that you could buy from, and they also had a little gallery space in the back, and it was just a really cool spot. One of the owners is named Paul, I think Paul Gambin, and he's a photographer for Nat Geo, and I think it's him and his partner who own it. Anywho, we were in there for probably a few hours just chatting with them and looking at all this stuff, and I mentioned that I'm particularly interested in textiles and was wondering if there were any textile collectives that he knew around there, and he suggested that we connect with this woman named Braulia, and she started this all-female textile collective called Pumakwasi, and she's located in a little village outside of Urubamba on the way back to Cusco. She had kind of worked with him in the past to make some textile samples for his bookstore, and she's really into, I think, spreading knowledge about the traditional method of textile weaving in the area, and especially with the natural dyes that they used. So we ended up reaching out to her, and she invited us over to her home where the textile collective is, and she did a whole demonstration of all of their natural dyes that they use. And she had this amazing array of all the different colors that they could make naturally. And afterwards she brought us into a room where she had all of the crafts and goods that they make, and we just were so grateful for her for just being so warm and inviting us into her home. So we bought this beautiful, beautiful blanket that she herself had woven on a loom, and it's just absolutely amazing. It's so, 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 so beautiful. And it was so interesting speaking with her about the cultural significance of blankets in that region. She was telling us that when two people are going to be married, the mother of the bride often weaves them a blanket like this, and this kind of joining in the middle represents their union, and it's just really like a life force. Like, it keeps you warm when you're cold, it can carry your child, it holds you together. It was just so beautiful speaking with her and hearing about the textile tradition there, and buying these goods directly from her and her fellow artisans was so cool. Another thing I got from the textile collective were these sweet baby alpaca mittens. I had been looking for mittens the whole trip and just hadn't really found the right ones yet, and these were just so sweet. They have a little cable knit pattern on them, and they're so soft and warm, and I've already worn these so much. They're already like a little bit shaggy. I need to like depill them a bit just because I've worn them so much. Another place that we went to in Urubamba, I believe it was Kaya, and it was like kind of an organic store. They had a lot of dry goods and medicinal type stuff there, and they had these organic cotton little undies, and I just thought they were so cute. I loved the little edge detail, and I've been wanting to transition to having only cotton undergarments, so I thought these were perfect. This is the bikini style, and then I got another one which I believe is the moon style. This also has that detailing, and I guess they're 100% Peruvian cotton, and they're made in the Sacred Valley where we were staying. Okay, so I think we've finally covered everything that I picked up in Peru, so let's move on to Chile. So we initially went down south to southern Chile, not quite Patagonia, but in the Melepeuco area. We went to Park Conguillo in the Biobío region, but I don't think I got anything when we were down there. We were just kind of at the national park enjoying nature. Then we went back up north and we were in Valparaiso, and we stayed there for quite a few days, so I picked up a few things while we were there. One of the first things I got there, which is kind of silly, is this little blue hat, and I call this my Chilean man hat. It's just like kind of a silly like little, I don't know, feels like a little golf hat or something, and when I saw it, it reminded me of Carrie Bradshaw for some reason. I feel like she must have worn one of these hats once in the show. I feel like it would be so cute with like a little low bun and like some capris, maybe some little kitten heels, like totally dressing it up. But I love the color, and I'm a hat girl, so whenever I see a cool hat, I try to collect it. Valparaiso had a very cool kind of arts culture, and especially connection to printmaking. So there were lots of artists out selling their prints and other kind of art and craft, and I just thought that was really cool. So we happened upon this one printmaker. She had a multitude of different cyanotypes, and this one just struck me. It's a bunch of different cats in the city, I believe, and I just thought it was so cute and silly, and I've always loved cyanotypes. I've never done that before, but I just think the blue is really beautiful, and so I just thought this one was really cute and just a fun find on the street. In Valparaiso, we also of course had to see the home of Pablo Neruda, a famous Chilean poet, and his house there was so cool. He was obsessed with boats and kind of maritime stuff, so the house kind of has like a maritime boat type feel. How it's built, and it's like a bunch of different floors, and it's all very wacky. The decor is crazy. He was a big collector of different antiques and all that, so it's just an eclectic place, so beautifully designed. As an artist, I was just so inspired by his space, and I aspire to have such an inspirational home of my own someday. I wanted to get one of his poetry books, but I am only very recently learning Spanish. I don't know the language very well yet, so I wanted to get something that would be kind of easier for me to understand and maybe help me learn a bit. So I got this edition of his 20 poemas de amor y una canción desesperada. It's just a beautiful, beautiful edition with interesting little etchings and the different love poems. I also got one of these for my friend, and once I got home I immediately ordered a bilingual version of his collections of poems. And when we were at the museum, they had these really interesting little postcards with some of his poems on them and different artworks. The very last thing that I got, I believe, I hope I'm not forgetting anything, we were walking around Valparaiso, and again, there's just a very artistic kind of culture heritage there, and we came upon this jewelry maker. He had this sweet little shop on this quiet street, and he just had the most beautiful silver jewelry. I got earrings. I love the funky little shape, and the amber is gorgeous. They have kind of a nice curvature to them, but I just fell in love with them. So that was everything that I collected across my travels in South America. I feel like it was quite a hefty haul, but I am so pleased with everything that I brought back. I think that the tradition of craft and culture and art there is just so beautiful, and I'm so inspired by it. And I met some of the nicest, warmest people while I was there, so I just wanted to put my thanks out into the universe. Thanks to the people there and to everyone that I met and interacted with. It was just a beautiful trip. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.